I'm 71 years old, and the regret that visits me most doesn't come with noise. It comes when the house is quiet, when the day is done, and there's nothing left to distract me from myself. It usually shows up at night. Not every night, but often enough that I recognize the feeling as soon as it settles in. The television is off. The dishes are drying in the rack. The clock in the kitchen makes that soft ticking sound it's probably always made, but I only seem to hear it now. That's when it comes. Not like a sharp pain. More like a weight. A presence. Something that sits beside me and waits. I'm telling you this because I don't have much use for keeping it to myself anymore. I'm not looking for forgiveness. I'm not even sure from whom it would come. I'm just trying to say it out loud while I still can. The house is too big for one person. It didn't used to feel that way. There was a time when every room had a purpose, and every chair had someone in it. Now there are rooms I don't go into unless I'm cleaning, and chairs that haven't been pulled out in years. I used to think quiet meant peace. Now I know better. When you're younger, you don't notice how sound fills a life. Footsteps in the hallway. Someone calling your name from another room. The low, constant noise of other people living alongside you. You think it will always be there, because it always has been. At 71, you learn that nothing is always there. Most mornings, I wake up early. My body does that now whether I want it to or not. I sit at the kitchen table with a cup of coffee and stare out the window. The same tree has been there for decades. It's taller now. So am I, in a way, though not how I expected. I think about the years behind me more than the days ahead. That seems to be how it goes. The future narrows, and the past spreads out. The regret I'm talking about isn't one big mistake. It's not a single moment I can point to and say, "That's where I ruined things." It's smaller than that, quieter. It's made of thousands of ordinary days that I let slip by without really being there. I didn't know that was what I was doing at the time. In my 20s and 30s, I thought I was doing everything right. I had a steady job. I showed up. I paid the bills. I did what I believed was expected of me. I was proud of that. I still am in some ways. I grew up believing that being dependable was the highest form of love. You didn't have to say much. You just had to work hard and not let people down. So that's what I did. I worked long hours. Not because anyone forced me to, but because it felt responsible. Because saying yes was easier than saying no. Because I told myself there would be time later. There was always something that needed doing. A deadline. A project. A shift that needed covering. I was good at my job, and people noticed. That felt good. It felt like proof that I was useful. At home, I was tired. Not exhausted in a dramatic way. Just worn down enough that I wanted quiet when I walked through the door. I'd sit down. I'd listen with half an ear. I'd nod. I thought that counted. I didn't think of myself as absent. I thought of myself as busy. My wife would talk about her day. The kids would interrupt each other at the table. There was laughter. There were arguments. There was life happening right in front of me. And I was there. Technically. But there's a difference between being present and being in the room. I didn't understand that until much later. I missed things without meaning to. School events that conflicted with work. Dinners I arrived late to. Conversations that started and ended without me really hearing them. I told myself it was temporary. Just this season. Just until things settled down. Things never settled down. The kids grew up quietly, the way kids do when you're not watching closely. One day they were small, asking for help with homework. The next, they were locking their bedroom doors and heading out with friends whose names I didn't quite catch. I noticed the changes, but I didn't stop them. I assumed this was normal. I assumed they'd come back around later. I remember one night in particular. I came home late again. The house was already dark. There was a note on the counter from my wife. Just a few words about leftovers in the fridge. I stood there longer than necessary, holding that piece of paper. I don't know why. Something about it felt heavier than it should have. I put the food in the microwave and ate alone at the table. The chair across from me was empty. I told myself it was just how schedules lined up sometimes. That's how most of it went. Small moments that didn't seem important on their own. I didn't think I was choosing work over my family. I thought I was choosing my family by working. That's the part that's hardest to explain. The intentions were good. The reasons made sense. There was no malice in it. But intention doesn't stop time from moving. Years passed. The kids left home. They had their own lives, their own routines, their own people. I was proud of them. I still am. I just didn't know how distant pride could feel. My wife and I grew quieter together. Not in a bad way at first. Just fewer words. Fewer shared moments. We had habits instead of conversations. I thought that was what long marriages turned into. I thought stability was enough. Then she got sick. It wasn't sudden. There were doctor's visits, tests, long waits and uncomfortable chairs. Words that didn't sound real when the doctor said them. I sat beside her in waiting rooms and realized how little I knew about her inner life. Not because she hadn't shared it, but because I hadn't always been listening. We had time then. More time than I'd had in years. And suddenly, I didn't know what to say with it. She passed away on a quiet morning. The kind of morning that looks ordinary from the outside. Birds still singing. Sun coming through the window like it always had. I held her hand and felt how final it was. How little room there was left for correction. After the funeral, people came by. They brought food. They told stories. They said kind things. And then, slowly, they went back to their lives. That's when the house really went quiet. I moved from room to room not knowing what to do with myself. Everything was where it had always been, but nothing felt the same. I started noticing all the times I'd said, later. All the conversations I'd postponed. All the evenings I'd chosen rest over connection. It wasn't that I hadn't loved her. I had. Deeply. Steadily. But love, I've learned, isn't just about feeling. It's about showing up when it's inconvenient. It's about listening when you're tired. It's about staying in the room even when your mind wants to be somewhere else. Those lessons came too late. Now, when the house is quiet, I hear everything I didn't hear before. Her footsteps that aren't there. The sound of her voice calling my name from another room. The hum of a life we built but didn't fully inhabit together. The regret isn't loud. It doesn't accuse me. It just sits there, reminding me of what I assumed I could return to. There are things that can't be fixed. Not because they were unforgivable, but because the moment for them has passed. You can't go back and be more present. You can't rewind a conversation and listen better. You can't ask questions of someone who's gone. You can only carry the knowing. I talk to my children more now. We speak on the phone. We see each other when we can. They're kind to me. Patient. But there's a distance that doesn't close once it's been allowed to grow. Not completely. I don't blame them. Distance is what happens when people learn to live without you. If you're listening to this and you're younger, I'm not here to tell you what to do. I don't have instructions. I only have what I've lived. I thought there would always be more time. More evenings. More chances to sit down and really talk. I thought the important things could wait until the urgent ones were handled. I was wrong about the order. The urgent things keep coming. They always will. The important ones are quieter, and they don't demand attention. They just fade if you don't give it. I wish I had understood that being needed at work wasn't the same as being known at home. I wish I had realized that providing isn't the same as participating. I don't beat myself up over it anymore. That doesn't help. But I don't excuse it either. I sit with it. Sometimes I walk through the house and touch the backs of chairs, the edge of the table, the doorway where she used to stand and talk to me while I pretended to listen. I remember thinking I'd get back to the conversation after just one more thing. There was always one more thing. Now there's time. More time than I know what to do with. And that's the cruel part. Time arrives when it's no longer useful. I take care of the house. I keep it clean. I fix what breaks. These tasks fill the day, but they don't fill the space. At night, I sit in the living room with a lamp on and think about how full it used to be. Not just with people, but with moments I didn't recognize as moments. If this meant something to you, if it stirred something you weren't expecting, I hope you sit with it for a while. Not to change your life overnight, but to notice it as it is. That's all I have left to offer. A noticing. I'm 71 now. I don't have the energy I once did. I don't have the illusions either. The house is quiet, and it will stay that way. I've made peace with that, mostly. Peace doesn't mean the regret leaves. It just means you learn how to live alongside it. Tonight, I'll turn off the lights, lock the door, and go to bed. The same as always. The same as yesterday. And the house will be quiet. I hope you don't make the same mistake as I did. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. And share your comments. Thanks.